There is a prayer that most Christian entrepreneurs are praying every single day, and it's actually keeping them stuck. It sounds something like this: God, please bless what I'm building. God, please open doors for this plan that I have made. And the problem isn't that your prayer is wrong. That's not it. The problem is that you're asking God to breathe and bless up and show up to your agenda without actually inquiring and asking God, is that from Him? Does He want that for you? So in today's video, I'm going to show you the difference between asking God to bless you and asking God for what His plan for you actually is. Because that one shift can completely change everything about what you are building. And I'm going to give you 3 specific questions that will replace the Lord bless me prayer with Lord, what should I actually be doing? And these questions will shape everything that you are doing, and trust me, you will start to and begin to see results. Here we go. Now, question 1: what do you want me to build in this season? Question 2: what do you want me to stop doing? Question 3: what do you want me to steward differently? 3 questions every week. That is the complete and whole framework that you are going to follow. All right. Because I also want you to stay to question 2, because a lot of people never ask it. But that is actually the one that really creates space for God to move in your business, in your life, in your ministry, in your career, whatever it is. That question is the one that allows God to really show you and show up. But the question is, are you willing to follow through with what He says? All right. Now, this is the thing that tends to happen to us a lot, is we come and we're like, God, please bless my plan. The thing is that we come to God having already made the plan, having already made the decision, having already made the choices, and what makes sense to us. And we're now saying, God, please can you now bless this thing that I have brought to you? God, please can you now place your stamp of approval over this? That isn't prayer. What that is you are pitching. You know, when you're going to an investor or you're in an elevator, you want some money or some funding or investing for your business idea, but you actually haven't consulted the investor about the specifics of the plan. You've just told them, this is what I plan to do. And this is what we tend to do with God, because God isn't looking for your pitch. He's looking for a partner. He's looking for a partner that says, look, Lord, I've got some ideas, but I'm really interested to hear your ideas first. Keyword first. Let me say that again. Keyword first. I hope that gets in. But God also wants a prayer that asks before they act. God actually wants a partner that listens to what it is that He has to say. And I'm saying this because I have done this many a times. I'm a testament of this, whereby I've had this bright idea and I'm putting my effort, my energy, my hard work into it. And then I'm like, Lord, please can you breathe on this? Please can you bless it? Lord, please can you cause this happen? And things are not working. And I come to realize that I am actually out of alignment with God. And this is why it's so important with these 3 questions we're going to discuss. It's so important to ask God these questions and wait for the answer. Wait for His answer and confirmation. Okay? Reason why I'm saying that is, if you begin to build in not in alignment with God, trust me, you open up yourself for more and more things which you just didn't bank on having. But when you build on what God has given you and what He has planned for you to do, there's a different grace that is given. There's a different level of resources that are open to you. But anyways, let's keep going. Let's talk about the first question. The first question you are going to ask the Lord is, God, what do you want me to build in this season? Now, at the point of me making this video, we currently have just entered into June, which is the 6th month of the year. Now, when you enter into a new month is also a new season. Yes. Did you not know that? It is a new season. So when we're entering into this new season, it is important for us to inquire of the Lord and ask, Lord, what do you want me to build in this new month? Now, one of the things that I love to do, and I've talked about it on this channel, and I'll also put the link to the description for my business meeting with God template, is seeking him and asking him, Lord, what do you want me to do this month? What is it that you have in store, and what plans do you have for me? Because I tell you something, when you grow in intimacy, when you grow in devotion, when you grow in closeness with God, you come to this place where it's not about you anymore. It's more about, Lord, use me for your glory. Use me for your work. How can I be of service to you? That is more or less what it becomes. So the more you grow in intimacy with God, trust me, you'll notice the more you want to serve God, and the more that you will take time to ask the Lord, okay, Lord, how do you want me to do this? How do I go about building this thing that you have planned for me? Okay. And it's really important, because a lot of us tend to go in with the opposite. Lord, this is what I want to build. Can you just bless this? Oh Lord, why is it not working? And we are putting so much effort and energy into this. But God is like, you never consulted me. You never asked me if this is what I wanted for you to do. And then you know what you end up with? Wasted energy, wasted effort, wasted time. Now, I want to say something as well. Even if you may feel like wasted effort, wasted energy, wasted time, the lesson that you learned is not a waste, because that lesson will serve you for the next steps that you are going to continue to do along your Christian entrepreneurial journey. Okay, so one of the practical things that you can do, and I want to say this, is that the plan that God gives you will always outperform a plan that you ask him to bless. I'm going to say that one more time for the people at the back. Yes, you. The plan that God gives you will always outperform and do better than the plan that you come to him with and you say, God, bless this and breathe on this. Trust me, I'm telling you that from experience, okay? So this is one thing that you can do, a practical thing that you can do, and I like to do this. And that is, before you open up your laptop, before you start doing your work, before you make any decisions, you are going to ask God out loud. You're going to bring your journal, you're going to bring a piece of paper, whatever it is that you use, okay? If you've got a She Prays journal, use that, okay? And you're going to say, Lord, what do you want me to build? And you're going to write down whatever comes to your heart, whatever comes to your mind, whatever comes to your spirit. It could be the littlest of ideas that just boom, drops. Write it down. Nothing is wasted in the presence of God, okay? So don't try and over rationalize things or overthink it. No, just write it down, okay? Get it captured, get it written down, and then you can pray on it further and even more. Let's talk about question 2. This question is, God, what do you want me to stop? Now, the thing about this question is that most people never ask it, and it's because it requires you to actually be open to hearing what God has to say. And it's difficult because imagine you pouring your time, your effort, your energy into a business idea, into a journal, a plan, whatever it is, a digital product, into ministry, into your career, and then you hear God say, yeah, stop. That's not what I had in mind for you. And I also want to just highlight something, because we need to think about maybe the reason why it's not working, or it hasn't been moving how you want it to, is because what you're carrying is so heavy, and what God actually wants to release to you, you have no room to actually receive it, because you're so focused on what it is that God, so you're so focused on what it is that you want to do. All right. So I'm saying this because there are things that God wants to release to me and you, but there are things that is going to require you to say, I'm going to put this down for a season, or I'm going to put this down for now, or I'm going to put this down permanently, because I don't sense or discern that I am aligned with God when it comes to this. And I also want you to understand that this prayer or this question, God, what do you want me to stop, is actually a very productive prayer, because this is the thing. If God tells you stop doing this, stop doing that, there is a reason behind it. And that the answer that God gives you, you should use that to now go and shape how you move, how you do things going forwards, the way you plan, the way you strategize, the people that you interact with. You need to go ahead and use that. And I just really want you to understand that this prayer, though it's hard, trust me, it's hard to pray about, it is so important, because I always think about this. What if God is trying to release something to you, but you don't have any hands to receive it because you're so busy and so occupied in something that God didn't call for you to carry? That's why sometimes this business that we're trying to build, this idea that we're trying to establish, the burden is heavy. It's like you're trying to push a rock up a hill. And it's not that God doesn't want great things or want you to succeed. No, but He has a plan for you, and a plan that already He has got resources, people, things around to help you fulfill that thing. All right. So please, please, please remember that. And I want you to remember this. Your hands right now are probably full of things that God wants you to release. Okay. Because if He wants to give you new things, you've got no room to grow it, to build it, to steward it, to shape it. There's no room. And I'm saying this because this is something that I have been through, and I've had to make some very tough decisions about what it is that I want to do in this season. Not even when I say I want to do, but what do I believe and know God is calling me to do in this season. And sometimes it's going to hurt to let and to stop things. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel strange. But the result of you being in full alignment with God, of you pressing in and building, it doesn't compare. It doesn't compare, honestly. Let's move on to question 3. Now, the third question that you're going to ask God is, God, what do you want me to steward differently? Now, this is a stewardship question. And one of the things that we know, and hopefully you know, is that God looks at how you use what He's already placed in your hands. So what things can that be? That could be your gift, your talent, your skill, your ability, and all these other kind of things. How do you use this to bring glory to God? How do you use what is in your hands to build the vineyard, build the fruit and all these other kind of things? Your time, your platform, your email list, your story, your network, your tools. Every one of these is a resource that God has placed into your hands. The question is are you using them faithfully? Or are you sitting there allowing these things to go untouched, to be wasted while you're waiting for God to send something bigger? It doesn't work like that. And I'm going to share this with you because I have experienced this. There are times that we have been praying, Lord, do this. Oh, Lord, will you open the heavens? Oh, Lord, will you breathe upon this? Oh, Lord, will you bless that? And it's like, do you know God has already given you the very answer to what you've been praying for? The thing that you need to be praying about is, oh, Lord, help me to steward what you've given me. Open my eyes to see what you have placed in front of me. Yeah, trust me, try that. We do not serve a wicked God. No, He's not wicked at all. When you, trust me, before you've said and opened your mouth and prayed, Lord, I need this, God, bless you with this, He's already put it in your hands. Question is are you sensitive enough to discern it? And do you have the courage and the faith to move on it? Yeah? Now, I want us to talk about quickly the parable of the talents. Now, the parable of the talents wasn't about money. It was about stewardship. And God has given these people, you know, we can see an example of the parable of the talents. The master goes away and he gives 1 5, 1 2, 1 1. We see the one with the 1 talent goes and buries it. But the one with the 5 and the 2 go ahead and they steward the resources that they have. And you know what? They get more at the end. When the master comes back and sees what they've done with the small he gave them, he gives them more. He blesses them. He does so much more for them. But for that servant that he sees goes and buries that 1 talent, he says, "You wicked, you lazy servant. You have got to..." If I was to go deep into this story, one of the things that God showed to me is that in order to steward what God has placed in your hands effectively, you must know the master first. Because the one with the 5 and the 2 knew their master. They knew what he liked. They knew how he was. They knew that, listen, better go and do something with these talents and come back with one thing than not do anything at all, because master does not like that. And this is the same thing when it comes to you and I with God. You got to know God. You got to understand, what does he want? What is his plan for you? What is he calling you to build in this season? Because you see, when you ask the right questions, you position yourself to be able to receive the downpour in what it is that he wants to give you. Now, with the parable of the talents, the 5 and the 2, as I said before, they knew their master. The one with the 1 didn't. My question to you is that when you know your master, you begin to see and he begins to reveal to you what he has given you. God begins to show you what he has deposited in your hands and in your life. No relationship with God, you aren't asking the right questions. But when you have a relationship with God, an intimacy, a depth to knowing him, trust me, you begin to ask God the right questions. And with the right questions, you begin to open up doors for God to move and work and for things to shift in your business. So, one of the things I want to ask you is, what have you been stewarding faithfully? And what have you dropped because you don't deem it important? Do you see yourself as the servant with the 5 and the 2 talents? Or the one servant that had the 1 talent? Which one and where would you be? And I'm going to say this to you, okay? I'm going to challenge you this week. Before you plan anything, before you create anything new, before you continue to build, before you post anything, sit down and ask yourself those 3 questions out loud. Write the answers. And you know what? From those answers, allow it to shape everything about how you maneuver and move going forwards, okay? And stop asking God to bless your plans. Ask him for his plan for you. Because the plan that he gives you will always be better than the one you came up with on your own. And with that, I wish you all the best in your endeavors and what you are doing. And remember, go and ask God. Sit with him. And if you need our business meeting with God template, go ahead and grab it in the description box. Trust me, it has been blessing people and I know it will bless you. Take care and see you soon.